Josh Blake, but instead of telling stories, I'm just gonna be Josh Blake.
And that could soon return.
I'm here. I'm not late. Don't do it again. I'm here. My shoes are so dirty. Mackenzie, how's life? No, I have a cat. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think it was pretty clever class.
Better brace yourself, M-Deck. It's coming. Get the Game of Thrones reference? I tried.
Well, you probably already know who I am by my coffee cup. So, before I get started, because I'm Deck, or Mr. Decker, is from St. Does anyone have to go to the bathroom? So, Deck is our new math teacher. We call him Deck. And so, we walk into class the first day of school, and we walk in and he doesn't say anything. He doesn't introduce himself. He just walks on over to his kettle, which he conveniently has in his classroom, and turns it on. So, it was at that point and onward we knew he had a problem. He was addicted to caffeine. I've never seen someone consume so much caffeine in my life. Also, another M-Deck story. So, the other day we had our first snowfall. You know, snowfall is not very cold then, right? It's like, whatever. Nothing to what's coming yet. So anyway, we had math right before lunch. So, he started getting ready to go home, pulls out the big old boots, up to his knees. There was a lot of snow out, right? Puts on the big old hat. Puts on his skidoo mitts. He's ready to take on the winter. It was -2 out. So there's a lot yet to come.
Alright, so now it's time to make fun of Rebecca Bird. Because you know, she's really embarrassing. She's so much stuff. Like, you don't want to be seen in public with her half the time. So bad. So, speaking of public, one time we were at a volleyball tournament, and you know, anyone who watches our games knows that when someone is serving, they usually play around with the ball a little bit. I don't know if it's for good luck or whatever. I usually do something. I don't know. I just make it up as I go. Rebecca decides it's a great idea to start hitting the ball at her feet. Right? So just as the buddy blows the whistle for her to serve, she hits it one more time, hits her foot, it goes off. The other team got a point. Also, Rebecca Burry tends to be late to everything. She was 2 days late to our Europe trip. Yeah, that happens, real. So, while everyone else is walking into school, and there's like a row of windows to your left when you're walking in, chatting about how your day and how it's Monday morning and it sucks. When you look at the window, you can see Rebecca Burry come running. She's giving her, she's coming running. Down by the church, because she's late. She's always late. You know, sometimes she'll have coffee in her hand, or toast, or a waffle, that's after happening. Breakfast on the go. She's a real Tim Hortons sponsor, I tell you. She's making so much money. But when she gets to the classroom, she's like huffing and puffing, right? She's right out of breath. She can't talk, she's running from the house. You ask her how she's doing and how her mornings go, because it can't be going that good, right? First thing she wants to know is, got any gossip? And that's Rebecca Burry.
My last person, who's my last person? My last person, yes, my last person is actually my first friend. And you know, everyone remembers their first friend. I bet a lot of you who know me are thinking, it's probably Jeremy Miller, that guy who moved 6 years ago, or Jacob Healy, or Sidney Healy, or Kurt Spady. It's not. It was Timar. It was Tony Ray Harris. I know you guys are thinking, my God, you can do better than that, Stephen. I know. I know. But she was my first friend. My mom and her mom are like, hey, let's throw them a birthday party together. They're 2 or 1. They're gonna love this. They're gonna remember this. It's gonna go down in, you know, the yearbook. They're gonna love it. Remember it. Anyway, so I refuse to have him in my eyes, but I make fun of Timar. That's actually MDEC. MDEC created Timar. Timar MDEC. So we get and everyone calls her Timar now, so I love that fact. So making fun of Timar is easy because she's Timar. She's the clumsiest person alive. She's alright, I thought my mom was emotional. She watched the commercial, she's like, oh my God, I can't help it. I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? She's like, this bank commercial got me so, I'm going to Scotiabank, I can't help it. I'm like, oh my God, alright, you need help? I'm gonna die at my grad. But Tony Marie, no. Every time we mention the word grad, she's like, oh my God, I can't do it, I can't do it. I'm like, oh my God, Tony Marie, it's not a terminal illness, you're graduating, that's a good thing. And I remember we were in Italy, and we were in the worst hotel you ever imagine. And I thought that was the problem, but we walked into her and her, Sydney, Mackenzie, and Rebecca's room, and me and Caleb walk in, and we're trying to make the most of it because it's Italy. You know, we shouldn't complain about being in Italy, so we're like, let's go to the beach, let's go get away. Daddy, say it, what are you gonna say, Daddy? And we want to go to the beach, and Tona Marie's sitting there, she's crying, she's, oh my God, I hate it, oh my God. We're like, what's wrong, Tona Marie, now? What is wrong? She's like, I'm not sad, I just really love my parents. I'm like, you've been gone for 5 days. 5 days, she would have died if she went to the Quebec trip. 5 weeks, Tona Marie, 5 weeks. I don't know how she did that. And I remember she came in late September, and Samantha Dix did her eyelashes, and she was the happiest person alive. She did an awesome job. Tona Marie was coming in like trying to blink, like, hey Stephen. She's trying to like take off with her, she's trying to like fly away. It didn't work. It almost did. And then I remember like 2 weeks ago. I don't know what happened. But she comes in school and she's like, the worst thing happened. And I was like, oh my God, what? She's like, look at my eyelashes. There's like none there. They're like that big. She's like, Stephen, your eyelashes are longer than mine. I hate it. And she was so upset. I thought she was gonna cry then, because she really loves her parents.
Mrs. Lane is basically the best teacher ever. She's so cheerful all the time and super happy. And so she started to do the announcements. And now, don't get me wrong, Mr. Power is super good at the announcements. He's just a little more chill than Mrs. Lane is. So he'll tell the morning announcements. It's all good. It's just kind of normal. And then Mrs. Lane starts to do the announcements, right? And she goes, good morning, class. How's it going today? And she'll tell you about like the weather, and then she'll talk about, oh, don't forget where you had it today. And so she'll tell you the announcements, and then don't forget, she goes, bye-bye now. And so she'll finish her announcements. And so normally after the morning announcements, we'll have like career class or something. And so she teaches us that, and she'll come into the classroom and take attendance or whatever. And then this is what she does. She sits on the desk, and her legs start swinging, and she's like, I got a story for you. And so every single class, she basically tells us like 5 stories. Most of them are about Andrea, her daughter. Every time she tells us an Andrea story, oftentimes they're like, something she would consider embarrassing. She goes, please don't tell Andrea, she'll kill me. She can't find out I'm telling her stories about her all the time, because they do it all the time. So she's always telling us these Andrea stories. And this one time it wasn't about Andrea. She was telling us about how she could never make up her mind on what she wants her job to be. So like sometimes she'll watch like a TV show or something, and all of a sudden if it's a show about a cop, she's like, oh yeah, that's it, I want to be a cop now. So this one time, she just had a job shadow cop. Anyway, so the story goes on, people thought she was an undercover cop. Students at her school saw her shadowing a cop, and they were like, oh, that's it, Mrs. Lane, she's a cop, that's it. And so now, if you see Mrs. Lane snooping around everywhere, that's what it is. She's an undercover cop, basically, so you know. Also, if you hear about her like going to the moon someday or something, she's changed her job again because she's heard of someone who's an astronaut, right? So you never know with her, honestly. Anyway, Mrs. Lane is a great teacher. Thanks.
Alright, so this person is the last one for me to talk about. And I want to say on behalf of our class that we have bragging rights that we have the best Hummer in the school. During the Christmas season, he'll be going up and down the halls, humming to Jingle Bells or Deck the Halls, and he brightens up the morning, every single day. And this would be Matthew Follett. So yesterday he celebrated his 17th birthday, and his favorite food happens to be cheesies. So during chemistry class, we got a chemistry that was great. We brought up a couple bags of cheesies and we had a cheesy party for him. And while we were there, we were listening to some music, and sure enough, he was humming along to it, and he was brightening up our day, even more than what he usually does. And it's great to have him in class, and it wouldn't be the same without him.
That's it for making fun of people. Again, you can call me if you want to hear more stories about Sydney. There are lots. That's kind of for Mr. Kennedy because I need money, so I can't bash on him a lot. Miss Diana's too perfect, and T-Mar, there are also thousands. So anyway, give me a call anytime. And so thank you for everyone who shared stories with that. So now we have the ladies choir. Oh my God, it's Italian. Fortissimo. Ravioli, something. Performing for us. They'll be singing One and Only by Adele.